Swish, swish, when I mention the trees, and when I mention the donkeys, your job is to go flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop. Long, long ago, in a town named Nazareth, where the wind blew gently and the trees said softly, a man named Joseph lived with his wife, Mary. They were a very special family and very close to God. In fact, God had asked Mary to be the mother of his son. He had sent the angel Gabriel to tell her of the plan and ask her to be a special part of it. Saint Joseph would help too, because he had been chosen to take care of Mary and the baby. When the baby came, they would call him Jesus, just as the angel had said. One day, the soldiers of the king came to Nazareth.
Everyone must go to the town of their grandparents. The king wants to count his people.
When Joseph heard this, he went to the soldiers and said,
My wife, Mary, is waiting for a baby. It will be hard for her to travel.
But the soldiers said,
Everyone must go to the town of their grandparents. The king wants to count his people.
When Joseph told Mary the news, he was sad and worried, but Mary knew that it must be just another part of God's plan, and she said,
Don't worry, dear Joseph. God is watching over us.
As time went by, Joseph spoke to the neighbors about the words of the soldiers. He said,
My wife, Mary, is waiting for a baby. It will be hard for her to travel.
And all the neighbors said,
This isn't fair. We don't want to go.
Mary loved Joseph very much, and she saw that he was very worried. So she kept saying,
Don't worry, dear Joseph. God is watching over us.
The day to go to Bethlehem finally came, and Mary and Joseph started a long journey to the town of their grandparents. They packed the donkey with all the things they would need and started out. The little donkey's feet went all the way down the road that led them from Nazareth to Bethlehem. After a while, the trees began to blow in the wind, and Mary and Joseph could hear the trees saying in the night air. All through the journey, Joseph kept thinking to himself,
My wife, Mary, is waiting for a baby. It will be hard for her to travel.
So Joseph was extra kind. Meanwhile, the trees kept blowing in the wind, saying, and the donkey's feet kept going all the way down the long road to Bethlehem. Mary and Joseph passed the neighbors on the road to Bethlehem, and the neighbors said,
This isn't fair. We don't want to go.
But Mary just thought that this journey must be a special part of God's plan, and she said,
Don't worry, dear Joseph. God is watching over us.
And the little donkey's feet carried Mary and Joseph closer and closer to Bethlehem. The donkey's feet went. It was very late at night when Mary and Joseph reached Bethlehem, and Joseph had to look for a place to stay. He knocked at one door after another. Each time he explained to the innkeeper,
My wife, Mary, is waiting for a baby. It will be hard for her to travel.
But all of the innkeepers said the same thing.
No room, go away.
Mary was very tired by this time, but she still said,
Don't worry, dear Joseph. God is watching over us.
and the trees continued to say, and the donkey's feet continued to beat, all the way down the road. Finally, one innkeeper saw how tired Mary was and knew that she would need a quiet place for this night, and so he said,
There is a quiet place where the two of you can stay for the night. It is behind this inn. It is only a stable, but it will be sheltered from the night air, and you will be able to rest there.
Mary and Joseph were very grateful, and they went to find the shelter that the innkeeper had promised them. They settled themselves for the night, while the stars shone brightly and the trees went. In the night air, the baby, the long-awaited one that God had promised, was born. And Mary and Joseph did as the angel Gabriel had said. They named him Jesus. Then they dressed him warmly and wrapped him in a blanket and tucked him in the manger. The angels told the news of the wonderful baby sent by God to some shepherds on the nearby hillside. The shepherds rushed to the stable in Bethlehem, and there, just as the angels had said, they found the Holy Family. The stars shone brightly, and a soft breeze blew so that the trees went. When Joseph heard the trees, he was reminded of the way Mary had kept saying,
Don't worry, dear Joseph. God is watching over us.
Joseph would always remember these words, because now he knew how true they were. And as the angels sing, we hope that you will tuck Mary's words away in a special place in your own hearts, remembering that God is watching over you too, not just at Christmas, but every day of the year.